Okay, so the next step in creating our order form is to complete the response sheets. Okay, so every order form that you make is automatically linked to a Google spreadsheet. All right, so what we're going to do here is open up your order form that we created from the last video, and we're going to go to View Responses. Now, View Responses, this is our spreadsheet. Okay, so you can see in my order form I have 1, 2, 3, 4 items I'm selling, and here I have 1, 2, 3, 4 columns that will keep track of what people buy. So what's going to happen is you can see I've already ordered a couple of things. I went to the live form of my order form and I placed a couple of orders, and those orders show up here. So this is the spreadsheet we're going to use to calculate how much people owe and to make receipts. So first things first, what I'd like you to do is take a look at these columns and the headers for each column. That's the top row. And you can see that it says the entire question. Please indicate the item and quantity you'd like to purchase. And then it has in brackets the actual item. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to rename this column. I'm just going to delete this, and I'm going to say that this is going to be the number of calculators. My mic over here. Number of calculators. Okay, this column here I'm going to call, you can see rulers. This is going to be number of rulers. This will be number of protractors, and this is going to be the number of tutoring sessions, but I'm just going to say number of tutoring. We want this to be as short but as descriptive as possible. Okay. All right. So now what we're going to do is we're going to use this spreadsheet to calculate our receipts and our totals and things like that. So after you've done this, I want you to insert. So you're going to go to the column right here, go to the letter, and then this little arrow next to the letter. It says insert one to the right. And what that does is that inserts another column to the right of this column. And this is where we're going to calculate the price of our calculators. And I'm going to insert one next to rulers, and that's where I'm going to calculate the price of the rulers, and so on and so forth. Oops, I went too far. This is acting up on me. Tutoring. There we go. Let me zoom out a little. Okay, so now you can see I have my 1, 2, 3, 4 things I'm selling, and I have empty columns next to each item. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to name these columns. This is where we're going to put calculator price. Here I'm going to put ruler price and protractor price, tutoring price. Okay. Now I'm going to use these columns here to calculate how much people owe for buying this many calculators or this many rulers or this many protractors. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply the number of calculators times the price per calculator, and the same thing for rulers and the price for rulers. So we can't use that old, I can't just say equals this cell times the price, which for me is 40. Can't do it. There's a problem with that with the Google Forms. I can't copy this down like that. It's a problem. So what we have to use are things called array formulas. And an array formula, the one we're going to use, array formula, is going to calculate this value for the entire column. And it's kind of complicated, but I can just tell you that it won't work unless we use an array formula. So what I'm going to say is in this array formula, I'm going to calculate this column. And the way I'm going to write that is saying that I'm going to calculate for C2 through, that's a colon, so C2 and I'm just typing this in. I know normally we click the cells, but C2 colon C. And what that means is it's going to take values starting at cell C2, and it's going to take values all the way down the column. If I'd said C2 colon C10, you can see that it would only calculate for values in here. But we're just going to say C2 all the way through column C. And I'm going to multiply this times the price, which for my order form, you can see that calculators are 40 math points. So I'm going to say whatever number of calculators I have here, that's this, I'm going to multiply that times 40. Now I should have 40 and 40 here, and I do. Okay, let's see, rulers cost 15 math points. So I'll do the same thing here. I'm going to say equals array formula. I'm going to notate, or denote rather, this column, which is E2 through E. And remember, for through, we're using a colon. I'm going to multiply that times the price for that column. There we go. Okay, so here, 2 rulers cost 30 math points, 3 rulers cost 45. All right, I'll just do that for all of these. Equals array formula. This is going to be G2 through G, G2 through G, times, what are protractors? 15. There we go. 4 protractors cost 60 math points, and so on. And I think tutoring was 50 math points. So I'll say equals array formula I2 through I times 50. And there we go. All right, so so far we're on our way to making receipts. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to find the subtotal before a discount. So I'm going to write that in this column right here, subtotal. And the way I'm going to do that is by adding all of these individual subtotals, right? So the ruler price plus the protractor price plus tutoring, all that. And that's going to say equals array formula. And here I need to say, well, let's see what columns. I need to put D column, F column, H column, and J column. And the way I'm going to write that is by saying D2 through D, that says a column, plus, what's the next one? F2 through F, that's another column, plus H2 through H, plus J2 through J. Now you might have to do more of these depending on how many items you're selling. For me, I'm only selling 4 items, so I have 1, 2, 3, 4 little subtotals, okay? And that's going to add all of those prices together. So let's take a look here. This person bought 1 calculator, that's 40 points. 2 rulers, that's 30, so we're up to 70. 60 points of protractors, that's 130. And then 150 points in tutoring. So it adds all those things together and gives me 280. And this one, added those amounts here. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to calculate the price after a discount. So I'm going to put that in this column, after discount. Now, for mine, this is where you're probably going to need some help from me during computer class. But for mine, it says, if you sign up for personal tutoring, you'll receive 15% off all math supplies. Okay, now we're going to use an if statement here. The only time a person will get a discount is if they buy tutoring. So the way I'm going to say that is equals, I have to do an array formula, if this column here, which says that they bought tutoring or not, so I'll say if I2 through I is greater than or equal to 1. That basically means that if somebody bought tutoring, okay? Now, if that's true, comma, then, so here's where I'm going to put the value if that's true. Well, they're going to get a 15% discount, which means I'm going to be taking this subtotal and taking 15% off of it. Or in other words, I'm going to have 85% of the subtotal. So I'm going to say we're going to take the subtotal, which is K2 through K, and I'm going to multiply that times 0.85. That's 85%. That's if it's true. Ooh, one other thing, sorry. We need to say round because I don't want decimals. So we're going to round that value there. Round parentheses, then K2 through K times 0.85. Like I said, this is a little bit complicated. I'll probably end up helping you during class. Now, if you're not getting a discount, well, this is just going to be the same as whatever's in this column. So we'll say K2 through K. Now let's take a look at what happens. These people both bought tutoring, so they both get a little bit of money off. And notice there's no decimals here. And the reason why is because we added this round function right there. Okay, so this little bit of code checks to see if this is true, if they bought tutoring. If they did, we're going to take 15% off and round it. And if they didn't, well, the price stays the same as the original subtotal. Okay, if you want to add this, you can. Sometimes in our receipts, we like to say how much people save. So I'm going to put here savings. And we're going to put another array formula. And the savings is just going to be subtotal minus discount. So that's going to be column K minus column L. And we'll write that by saying K2 through K minus L2 through L. So that will tell you just how much you saved by buying tutoring. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is, the last thing we're going to do is calculate the total, including sales tax. Now, sales tax on market day is going to be 5%. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this column here, and we're just going to add 5% to it. Now, if you add 5% to a whole, you get 105%. The whole is just 100%. So add 5%, you've got 105%. So what I'm going to say here is equals another array formula. Notice how all of these are array formulas. We're going to take this column, which for me is L2, sorry, L. And the way I write that is by saying L2 through L. And we're going to multiply that times 1.05. That's adding 5%. Oh, but wait, I really should round this too, because this will probably, well, let's see. I get a decimal. I don't want a decimal. So what I'm going to do is I need to round this. So I put round parentheses, and there you go. I don't have to worry about any parts of math points. Let's see, is there anything I want to add? Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to submit a response. So let's say I'm going to put in a couple. Let's say that I buy some rulers, some calculators, and protractors, but I don't buy any tutoring sessions. Let's see what happens. Well, that order that I just submitted, look at that. It's already popped up on my response sheet. And let's see, did I save it? No, I didn't save anything because I didn't buy tutoring. So this if function, this one right here, did work. It checked to see if you bought tutoring, and if it didn't, well, then your subtotal and discount price are going to be the same. No discount. Didn't save any money. Okay, let's do one more. Yeah, actually, I think that pretty much sums it up. So that's what you're going to be doing to get your spreadsheet in order. Let's just summarize. I changed all the names of the original columns to the number of items that I was selling. We inserted columns, and then we put in some formulas in every one of those columns. If you have any trouble, you can go back through this video and go step by step. Also, we're going to finish this week, and if you have any questions, you can ask me in math or computer class. Okay, thanks. Good luck.